tell me yeah, yeah, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. Welcome to Inside the Soundwave Internet TV Show, live from the beaches of Indialantic, Florida, where all of your local musicians get to tell you their music story from the beginning to the present. Now, here is your host, Mr. Soundwave.
All right, we're on the air, and today my guest is T.C. Ridge. Mr. T, thank you for being on the show today. Man, it's great to have T.C. on the show today. I'm thrilled to have him on the show. We've had some good people on in the past Tuesday. Yeah, because I said Tuesday, I said today is Thursday, and well, it is Thursday today. I'm not used to doing a Tuesday show. But
you better get used to it.
Yeah, I got to get used to it. Today, Thursday, I have from Brevard County one of the well-known musicians, also in Nashville, a musician, T.C. Ridge.
And Toad Hop, Indiana. I'd like to mention Toad Hop, Indiana.
Toad Hop, Indiana. No. Okay, that was a joke. Just had me thinking Toad Hop. Maybe Georgia.
Yeah.
Maybe Georgia. Okay. TC's going to tell us all about himself today, about his music history and what his projects are and what he's got available out there for everybody to hear, where they can go to listen to more TC stuff, and where they can go and buy TC stuff, right?
Yeah, we're going to try to encourage everybody to buy something.
Buy music. Good music. TC is a really good musician. We're really.
I appreciate that comment.
I
don't know how good of a musician I am.
Well, you certainly are. We are honored to have you on one of the first 13 of our. This is the 13th show.
That's something. Not to get off this subject, but my brother that's passed away, he and I were 13 months and 13 days apart. Literally, 13 months and 13 days apart.
And we have him on the show on the 13th.
Yeah, very awesome.
It's a sign.
It could very well be a sign.
It's a number thing, yeah, definitely. So, we're going to start off today with, of course, when did you pick up an instrument? In what decade, or what was the instrument that got you started in the music career thing?
Well, I tell you, it was really funny. From the time I was a little kid, probably 3-5 years old, I always wanted to be in entertainment, whether making movies, making music, and probably music was my bigger thing because I was a huge Elvis fan. And on my 8th birthday, I had complained for years, saying, I'd love to have a guitar. And so I had asked for a guitar from my aunt and my grandma, because it was big that everybody back then would kind of pitch in to buy somebody a gift, and whatever your gift might be, people pitched in, because we didn't really grow up with a whole shit pot full of money, so you just, you picked a gift. And it just so happens on my 8th birthday, I got my first acoustic guitar, and waited around because I just knew that if I asked for this, I had to get it, because I didn't ask for anything else. But then they never came, and I'm sitting around. I remember I was watching Andy Griffith's show.
Oh, my favorite.
And I'm saying, man, I just can't believe I never got a guitar. I really want it, and everybody, nobody said I was going to get it, but they sure didn't show up with anything else, And then I remember my dad saying, well, that's a costly thing. You're probably not going to get it. And he was serious. He didn't think it was coming. And then the next thing you know, the doorbell rings, and it's actually, I think it was a knock at the door. And it was my grandma and my aunt, and they brought me my first acoustic guitar. So 8 years old, that's when I got it.
8 years old, guitar, and you didn't look at a trombone or a violin or a harmonica. You went right for the guitar.
Right for the guitar. Only because I love to talk so much, and I figured if I had a guitar, I wouldn't have to blow on anything that would take away from me talking. I could just make up words, strum, and shout some stuff out.
Very good. 8 years old. Did you have any, what music did you listen to? I mean, when you were 8, I know I don't know how many people actually listen to the radio, but we used to listen to the radio a lot back when I was a kid at 1990.
That's when TV only had 3 channels, you have to remember that.
Well, what kind of music did you listen to?
I tell you, I mentioned earlier, I was a huge Elvis fan. You wouldn't know it by, what the style that I sing or anything like that, but I guess probably because I grew up, with not a whole lot, and at one point in my childhood we didn't have running water in our house, so it was the dream and the ambition to go on and do something large. So so I absolutely loved the concept of his whole story, because he actually came from the ghetto and succeeded. So that always obviously had a passion for me as well. And so I listened to Elvis, Johnny Cash, Tom T. Hall. I listened to a lot of artists that really my mom listened to too, because she was like my biggest influence as far as character and really what developed me into the person I am today. And so with Tom T. Hall, C.W. McCall, I love Sneaky Snake. Remember that song,
Yes.
Tom T. Hall?
Yep.
Jerry Reed, huge Jerry Reed
Jerry
fan.
Reed.
Love the movie Smokey and the Bandit. Huge fan.
Love Jerry Reed.
And I saved up my money and went to a Jerry Reed concert when he was doing the two. If you're hot, you're hot. If you're not, you're not. And those were really probably my biggest for country kind of flavor stuff. But then I also listened to like every kid, Kiss and Alice Cooper. I loved it from the Inside record, and probably one of my favorite records, really, by Alice Cooper. So there's just so many influences.
Yeah, you did listen to rock and roll.
Oh, absolutely. The first stuff I was playing was horrible, but it was just probably country oriented, telling a story, and but then obviously I mean, if you listen to any of my music, you can tell I have this rock and roll kind of edge and persona as well. So I definitely am influenced tremendously by rock and roll, and I love bands like Bon Jovi, still do, and in that vein, I like good storytellers, I guess, with songs as well.
That's good. Very interesting. 8 years old. Did you play in a band?
Not at 8, I did. Not at 8.
How many years did you go before?
Well, I tell you, it's kind of a funny story because, I've never really considered myself a musician at all. I always kind of considered, I enjoy playing, I enjoy performing, and I enjoy gab. So a vocalizer and socializer, I guess. But every band I was ever in, if I wasn't really the guy that started, I was thrown out of every single band I was ever in. Because I don't have one of these voices that sound like anybody else. So it isn't like, we're going to form a band and we're all going to play this great cover tune. And it was a great cover tune until you had me singing it. And then it was like, oh, man, not the best cover tune. So I figured out then, the only way it's really going to work for me is probably to write, my own material that kind of works for this, unique style of voice. And so that's kind of what I started doing after getting thrown out of everything. Because after a while, you kind of have a dream that you want to do something, and then pretty soon you get a complex and say, "Wow, I must really suck." And yeah, I kind of did for what I was doing, but then you realize you got to find your niche, and then you target that.
Yeah, you look for it, and
so that's what I did. So then I just started writing songs and working with other people that were great songwriters, and just kind of got really, I guess you could say lucky there, finding the right people. And before you know it, it blossomed into something that was pretty cool. And then whenever I was maybe about 13, 14 years old, I met up with a guy named Terry Luttrell that used to sing for a band called REO Speedwagon and Star Castle, and he had produced some bands. And I actually had met him through my father, that worked at a Ford dealership in Champaign, Illinois, which was REO Speedwagon's kind of area. And so he set up a meeting because the fact that, as a kid, that's kind of, what I always said I wanted to do. Right. And a little story before I go off, every kid, always has these big dreams. Oh, I'm going to be, usually, I guess, a football player, baseball player, or an actor or a musician. And it's always cute until you reach your teenage years. Then all of a sudden, when you reach your teenage years, it's not so cute anymore because they say, I think that means he don't really want a job. I think it means he's probably not going to be real responsible. So all of a sudden, now they're like, well, you really probably should think of something to fall back on. So I just wanted to get to that. But so anyway, so I met up with Terry, and we had a lunch, and it went over really well. He invited me back to his home. Nothing funny. I mean, like to hang out and just shuck and jive. And so then we kind of went a long time, but he had given me a phone number to contact him if I was ever doing anything, because I said this is what I want to do with my my life and career. And so then one night I had met up with a guy at a convenience store that was just out of the blue. He was in from L.A. and he had this outrageous look at the time and for what was happening at that time. And so he played me some tracks, and the next thing you know, it was like, I fell for it, and we started a little band together, and ended up, we went to Terry Luttrell's house, and in the meantime, we created a pretty good buzz in a tri-state region, and that had kind of developed into a creativity that had really several labels looking at us at the time, and we were kids, we had no idea what we were doing except, at that time looking at girls and writing music and thinking that we were cool. If you was a girl and didn't like us, you had to be a lesbian. That was our mentality. I mean, we were just that stupid. But so anyway, we, you realize you better go to somebody. It's like they always say, a great detective doesn't know everything, but they know where to go. So I went to Terry Luttrell, and at this time when we went, we had mail bags that we, back then there wasn't the internet really circulating or anything like that, but I had my grandmother bought me my first guitar with my aunt. She was also a treasurer over the VFW Post 972, so she had all the copying machines and all the paper and all the stamps and everything else. So as what we did is we kind of came across that we were larger than we were, and we spreaded this whole thing, and we looked like, we looked like the real deal, and we just kind of kept pounding and slamming and getting all the people to support us. So by doing so, and I'll share you some stories. It's not really on the up and up, but it's not illegal, but it was a lot of fun, and it's really what got us our deal. But so we got the spark of the interest of some national labels, and a lot of enemies too in the music local scene. It seemed like once we started kind of catapulting a little different direction, all of our friends soon became our enemies because, for one, I'm just going to be honest, we weren't known anywhere outside of our town for playing anything except acoustic stuff, and outside of that, I mean, it was like all these other bands were rehearsing day and night and telling how great they were going to be. We were actually working on the business idea of it, and writing songs and just really to the point that we were like, we weren't comparing ourselves to the guys down the road that was playing or the guys that were playing the bar up the street. We were like, we were comparing ourselves to, we want to be as big as, Boston, or we want to be as big as Bon Jovi or Elvis. That was really our whole mojo and momentum, so... So that was the direction we went, and so we started being creative. And back there used to be these magazines, where you could open them up in the middle of them. That was like, people would have pen pals, but only would say, if you like this type of artist, write to me and blah blah blah. So that's kind of what we did, and we created this big buzz. And we took all my grandma's copying machine, and there wasn't cutting and pasting that these kids do now on computer. You actually took and you cut out a piece of paper, you laid it on another piece, then you made a copy, and then you took something else. And well, at this time,
it was real cut and paste.
Yeah, it was real cut and paste.
And real paste.
And we literally, maybe one week we were on Atlantic Records, maybe next week we were on EMI Manhattan. I mean, we were crazy kids, but we did all this crazy stuff, and we created these flyers, and we had all this huge buzz going around, and everybody's like, wow, these guys are signed already, and indeed we weren't.
Where's this taking place?
This happened in the Midwest. This is where this took place, but it actually gained national recognition and then became worldwide recognition. And in the likes that I was special guest with people like Guns N' Roses, Skid Row. But this is when I was doing rock and roll. But I've always been a country kind of guy, and country heart and soul. But so that's where that led to. But so anyway, so then we said, man, everybody always tells you how great they are, and we're like, but we really don't want people to say that because everybody says how great they are. Mm-hmm. So we actually, we created these street teams, and we would send them all these flyers to go pass out in, whether it be Oklahoma City or Houston, Texas, or Sacramento, California, or Anchorage, Alaska. I mean, just literally all over the United States and even the world. And as what we would do once we created street teams, then we would take, because as you know, when they post an envelope, it always has where it was sent out of.
Right.
Well, now if I tell somebody I'm going to be on, ISW radio interview, it's all over the internet. Somebody can type in your name, they Google it, and they say either the guy's full of shit or I'm going to tune in and see, and they really see it. Well, now you can't. There's no hype. There's no bullshit. It's either real or it isn't. Well, back then you didn't have that. So if a label got an envelope from a stamp thing that said Oklahoma or whatever city or state or town, well, what we did is we always wore this gaudy jewelry and these crazy rings and, everything that was cheap. But we would actually take these and put them in an envelope with a letter that we would write from that town based off of somebody that was created, because it was very snowballed very fast. And so we would send a letter to these different labels pretending to be, whether it's a young girl or whether it's a man or whether it's a mother or whatever. And every letter was, I'm going to kill these sons of bitches. This was my wife. I can't believe this. If they ever play in my town again, and I keep in mind, we never played in their town. We never even left this region where we were at. But all of a sudden, all the labels started paying attention because they're getting hate mail. They're getting people writing, hey, where do we get their record? Because, they claim they're signed to you. And before you know it, it actually created enough buzz and we had about 100 and some radio stations that wanted our music then. And because they thought we were signed and we had nothing. So the next step was all this fan mail. We had these radio stations. We had these songs. And we had this really cool little thing that happened. And we had at that time about 4 majors labels, William Eichhoff at BMG, and we had Sam Genoway at Mercury Polygram, and so forth, that it had all gone out of their way through this hotline we had created, which was nothing more than a cassette tape at a recorder, and a friend let us put it in a room in his trailer, and everybody would call and say, we got to call in and this and that. So we went with all this stuff, and Terry Luttrell, we waited because we called. He didn't even have an answering machine, and so we're like, man, I know where he lives. He took us there, so we're going over there. So me and my guitar player and drummer and bass player at the time, and so we go over there and sat there all day, all night. It rained. We're sitting in this little tiny, like a Chevette. It was a T1000 or whatever, 6000, whatever they are. It looked like a Chevette. And so it's in a neighborhood we probably didn't look normal in, but as far as what we thought, but it was probably normal for hanging out at Terry Luttrell's house. So we're sitting out front, and neighbors would kind of walk up and look, but they just assumed we were supposed to be there because we kind of looked the part at the time and all that. And about maybe 1 or 2 in the morning, here he comes pulling in this old like Ford coupe, souped up, like Sportster type looking thing. And so we walk out and we're like, we're taking no chances. We bring our own VCR because we used to go around with a camcorder all the time, and we would film us at malls, and it would just crowd with all these people, and they would have to take us out of these back little, I call it hallways, breezeways, whatever, behind stores to get us out because it would just create such a buzz because we had such a hype. And everybody told us how wonderful we were. We got fan mail saying we're the best band they ever heard. Now keep in mind, unless you've seen us playing acoustically somewhere, you really never heard us. So people just wanted to be in the know. So it just created such this snowball effect, and we couldn't go anywhere without being mobbed. And so we had these videotapes of all this stuff. And so we show up at his place, and he, because of him meeting me years ago, and I hadn't bugged him over the years, but I said, so we go in with mail bags, we go in with VHS tapes of us all over the place. We go in with these cassette tapes of people calling from all over the United States saying, oh my God, radio stations. And then we obviously had the labels and where they had sent us letters to. We created a fan club as well at a P.O. box. And that stuff was big then because you didn't have the internet. And
right.
So we dump it out on his floor, and he's, his eyes are like, oh my God. And then he's like, this is crazy. You guys did this all on your own. And so then he made a couple phone calls, and I remember one of them was to the drummer of a band called Cheap Trick saying, these guys are like, the next Grand Funk Railroad. The hype they've created is just unbelievable. And so next thing you know, we before we ever recorded our first note, the label had us at the studio, and we actually signed our recording deal in the sound room before we ever played the first note. Oh my! Literally, the first note. So we could have been the worst laughing stock, which maybe we were. I don't know, but that's how that got going.
You are
there,
marketing geniuses, marketing geniuses, man.
That's
I tell
amazing.
you.
And I've only shared. I didn't even share that story with Terry Luttrell until 2005 when I asked him to get involved with this new South of Georgia project, and he. And actually, we were all at dinner at Makoto's here,
Right,
cha-cha-cha-cha.
Yep.
And so anyway, and he was telling a story about, man, this was this crazy kid that came in and had all of this fan mail, and and he's like, it was just insane, and I go, did you ever wonder how we did that? And he's like, yeah, it's just magic, which it is magic, and I'll tell a little bit about the magic of things when it comes together, but then I told him the story, and he was like, that is just unbelievable. I've never heard a tale like that in my life. And he says, and if I didn't see it, I wouldn't even believe it. But that's the craziest thing in the world.
That is
all those years, I never shared with anybody because I thought we were going to get in trouble. Because we're like one place, there was a place called Sunshine Promotions. Used to do the hugest concerts around. I mean, if it was Kiss in concert or it was Elvis Presley, Sunshine Productions did it. And my guitar player at the time, he could do the voice of anybody. I don't care if it was Fat Albert to Roseanne Barr. I mean, he could sound just like these people. And this guy that always said, "This is Sunshine Production." Whatever. I can't talk like him, but either way, he does this thing, and it's this big, huge thing on our thing. Well, it ends up Sunshine Productions finds out that we have this thing because people's like, where's the concert? We hear that you're doing a whole run with you guys. Well, we threatened to get sued by Sunshine Productions for this released tape. So we were always afraid lawsuits were going to come out somewhere, But so that's a little bit of the history that kind of was the getting it going.
Getting it going. We're going to watch a video right now. We're going to take a break. What's the name of the video, Jamie? Which one is it?
This one is Down Home Country Boy.
Down Home Country Boy. A lot of fun. Hope you all like it.
Okay. Watch the video. We'll be right back after the video with more of TC Ridge. Don't go away.
The following is a CMT original.
Well, I like drinking beer on a Saturday night. When a John Deere tractors make me feel alright. Now people think that I'm just a honky-tonk guy, but I don't give a damn. I'm having a hell of a time. Now some might say I'm old-fashioned 'cause I love the USA. But if you don't like it, just get the hell away. Now it might be cool for the folks on MTV, but this gangster rap stuff don't mean that much to me. Don't want no baggy pants and flashy gold chains. I'll keep my jeans and t-shirts if it's all the same. 'Cause I'm hard living, truck driving, God fearing, down home country boy. Yes, I'm hard living, truck driving, God fearing, down home country boy. Well, I like marriage the way that it used to be, between Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. If you want to go out and get something to eat, well, don't give me no sushi. I like gator meat.
on the air. Here we are, back again. After that great story that TC just told us about how he got things rolling back then, that was very interesting. I got to admit, that's one of the. Actually, that is the most interesting story I've heard on the show.
That's one of those stories you can't make up. It's too crazy to be made up, you know.
I mean, I really liked it. I got to play that. I'm gonna watch that again later, of course, on at home. Hope you all saw that. But after 5:00 today, if you don't get to see the show live between 2 and 3 or 3:15, you can go at 5:00 and see it on YouTube, iswmusicstore.com, iswtvstudio.com.
Yep.
You can watch it on iswrecordingstudio.com, and you can also watch it on insidethesoundwave.com.
You can watch it everywhere.
Yeah, you can watch it all over the place. Anytime you want. Anytime you want to see this story about TC, go to those locations, and you can watch it in the comfort of your home. Anytime you want.
That's right.
Yes. Oh, we're back here on the beach, and TC is going to tell us a little bit more about moving a little bit, going on into the 90s maybe, as we push along a little bit.
Well, I tell you that the 90s had a unique life was just happening in the 90s, let's say, you know, and as it does for so many people, you know, you have to walk away and kind of revamp and rethink about things and see what direction you go. And I always, like I had said earlier, I always enjoyed movies and acting, so I actually started writing screenplays, and I had rewrote a screenplay whenever I was in school as well, and that ended up getting me recognition. Johnny Carson on the Tonight Show actually talked about me on the air one night, and had this his production manager call me, and so the 90s was kind of like really a pursuit of writing, and I wrote some screenplays and had some decent luck with some and some unfortunate luck with others, but
music was kind of going through some
major
changes in the
major
90s.
Changes,
Yeah.
and to a guy that looks like me, I've always kind of looked like this. I've always been kind of the odd, unique outcast kind of thing. So with that, in rock and roll, especially, and really even country, there really wasn't anybody that looked like me or that sounded. So it just seemed like a time that I needed to probably revamp and go that direction with stuff. So that's really what I worked on. I got involved with a guy named Hunter Von Leer that was my agent through that time, that was on the series Dallas, and he was the cop in Halloween 2, and he shopped a deal for me with Gray Fredrickson, which did all 3 Godfather movies and Apocalypse Now and a whole slew of them. And Fritz Kirsch was working with this as well, and I'm working with Fritz right now on a show, cartoon show, with a good friend of mine, Dizzy Dean Davidson, that used to be in a band called Brittany Fox in the 80s, and then a band called Black Eyed Susan in the 90s. So we've been all back working together. So I haven't given up the movie and the acting and the stuff like that. It's just that, my heart and soul's kind of been really set and desired for this whole South of Georgia, project of doing that. So there's the 90s.
There's the 90s.
Yeah. See how it went real quick. There's not real exciting about the
Not a whole bunch. Yeah, the 90s were kind of, I don't know, for me.
Family. Now, let me say that. Family.
Yeah.
The family was the exciting thing of the 90s. Let me rephrase that. I don't want to make it sound like that, but we were talking music stuff and
Right.
stuff. But, family's always amazing.
Were you in Brevard?
I was in and out of Brevard
Right.
in the 90s. Yeah, I was in and out of Brevard. I've lived 3 places my whole life. Brevard County, Indiana, Vigo County and Clay County, Indiana, and in California in Whittier and Baldwin Park, California. There's the only 3 places as far as states that I've lived in. So now I've traveled in just about every state.
All over.
Every state around. I haven't been to Hawaii yet or Alaska, but I keep saying one day maybe somebody will care enough about me there to bring me there.
It's kind of funny because I don't know if you were and you weren't around in the 60s, but you remind me of somebody like with the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
I grew up with the Doobie Brothers.
And Les Dudek played with the Doobie Brothers, correct? Is that correct?
Yes, he did.
He wears one of my hats. I met him at a show one time, and he came up to me and wanted one of my hats. So he wears actually a hat just like this that you guys have seen me wear thousands of times in the video and on tour, and I sell them. But Les Dudek actually wears one of my hats.
See, I thought of that, when I saw you again, when you came in, I said, it reminds me that back then when the Doobie Brothers were really rolling.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. That's before Michael Murphy, or not Michael Murphy, one of the Murphy joined the group. Mm-hmm. I'm going back to old Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
But you weren't around then.
No.
I was in the scene then, but they all know I'm an old man anyways. So the 60s were something country was still pretty big.
Oh, sure.
Because I had a band I played in then, I had to play for the Good Times and all the older country tunes. Mm-hmm. Johnny Cash was big then, too.
Oh, yeah. Johnny Cash will always be big. He's like Elvis. He'll always be big,
Yeah, he was really... they were all really good musicians. A lot of country where I'm from, Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. Country music's big up there.
Yeah, we actually, we've been to Massachusetts. We even, Bill Dietz, that plays drums for in the last 2 years, solo with the Chrome Horses Band that backed us up. We actually... and next time Bill's in, you ask him. We ran out of gas on the Mass Turnpike, ran out of fuel in the bus, and it's really odd because in a bus, it's supposed to actually your generator will shut down before your motor because they run off the same fuel.
Right.
Well, it just so happens the way that the hill was, we had no generator. No, let me rephrase it. We had generator, but the bus quit. Well, and as the enjoyments when you're on a pike or a turnpike, you can't use AAA. Not giving a plug for AAA, but I do love AAA.
Right.
But either way, so you have to use whoever the state has that basically they lease this little section. So for 20 gallons of diesel fuel and 2.5 hours wait, it costs us $375 for the 10 gallons, whatever I just said, 20 gallons, whatever, of diesel fuel. So we waited and waited. So we have a lot of fun in Massachusetts and a lot of friends up there. We have Paula and her mother, which we all call Mom. They feed us every time we're up there like family, and we love Massachusetts and plan on playing there this year as well.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The places maybe like Springfield or Worcester?
I think we did play Spring. Where's Bill? He knows more of these things.
Greenfield, Springfield.
Springfield. Yeah, I'm real bad about names of towns. Now I remember the people that lived there because it's always like a family reunion. When you're on the road, that's you hate being. I hate being away from home. I'm kind of one of these homebody type people, but I love being out and you meet the people that you became friends with, and you kind of have these little family friends that you create all over the United States. And so when you roll into town, it's like you're not really thinking of the town, you're thinking of the friends that you left behind, and you're looking forward to seeing them again and catching up.
House.
Yeah, that's right.
Good people up in Massachusetts. They love country music.
There's
up
good
there.
people all over this
all
country,
over.
you know.
Yeah. All over the place.
Macon, Georgia, love that place.
That's got to be.
I have a friend, Paul and Keith, that's in there, and Paul is the first and only haircut I've had in I don't know how many years, and everybody was so paranoid because it showed her with these scissors, and they posted them on the internet and stuff, but it was literally a small trim of hair, and great people in Macon. Yeah.
Oh, how long have you grown your hair?
Well, I tell you, I really kind of always had long hair. Whenever I was a kid, everybody used to always ask my mom, "Oh, is that a boy or a girl?" That was always a thing. And my heritage is Irish and Indian, Sioux Indian, and Irish, just Irish. Mm-hmm. But I had this when we were at F Troop, the old series F Troop. We went to the location of filming, and we picked up this. This was long after the filming, but it was where F Troop was filmed, and I had this eagle that was made out of turquoise and all this, so I would wear that around as a kid. It was like, man, that was cool, but it also made me look more like a girl because I'm wearing around a necklace and I'm a dude. But so I always had long hair, and I remember one time, and I don't even know what it was over, but my brother Newt always wore a buzz haircut, and I didn't. I always had long hair, and and if you were in any kind of trouble at all, you were threatened that you were going to get a haircut. So it was like, holy shit, I don't want a haircut. So boy.
So you didn't get in trouble?
Well, I'm not going to say that. I didn't get caught, but my hair was always kind of my thing. I'd always say, one day this hair is going to, do something for me, and it has. It's given me something to pull on when I'm really stressed. But the reality is, I've always had long hair. And one time I had, it was kind of shorter on the top, like everybody looked, pretty stupid at that time with these like mullet things, and that was about as good as it got. But I guess hair is kind of, I don't know, it's just my trademark. I've always had, So I've been growing it a long time. Since I was born, I've been growing my hair. What about you?
Yeah, same here. Lately, it's
his
leaving
stopped
me, but
it stopped growing.
I'm getting thin. I know that. I'm getting thin. Anyways, so the hair and the voice, trademark.
Yeah, I think so. It's like some people always say, I've had guys play with me and musically, and yeah, we'll straighten that out. And so the thing is they're always like,
you got to be
wow,
careful
man,
when you say boys
how
play
do
with
you
you.
sing like that? What do you do to sing like that? But that's just my voice. It's no kind of like a put on of saying, let's try to grab, because a lot of guys, man, they can sing this real raspy stuff, but it's a put on. It's very hard on their voice, and for me, it's there's been times where I've played 3 shows a day plus do a radio interview in the same day, and unless I'm deathly sick, I still play even if I'm deathly sick. But my voice, it's just what it is. That's what it is. It's not like, let's normally he sings so pretty. Nah, I never sing pretty.
Did you bellow out anything at 8 or 9 or 10 years old? I mean, were you
singing? You mean?
Yeah.
And it was really funny. This is so true. This is 100% another true story, which I'm not here to make shit up, but I just always like to say it because people do make stuff up. But I would call.
I don't know. Given your history you just told us about, sounds like you make a lot of stuff up.
Yeah, it sounds like it, but it didn't. But I used to call little girls because I was a little boy. It wasn't like I'm a guy calling little girls, but like whenever I was a kid, I would call girls that I went to school with, and 5th, 6th grade, and the father would. It was like the mother would answer, and I'd say, "Oh, it was Megan or is Tiffany or Tabby, whoever." I'm just naming names of girls at that time, and I would say, "Yeah, so and so there," and the mother would be like, "Who is this?" And then I would say my name, and then they would say, "1 second," and then all of a sudden, "Hello?" It'd be the father. What are you doing calling my daughter? And I'm like thinking to myself, holy shit, what did I do? Did I egg their house, corn their house? How do they even know me? Aren't you a little old to be calling my daughter? Literally never like, hey, do you go to school? It's just like, aren't you a little old? Because my voice always had this, I guess, this crazy sound even as a kid. And I would always get that. Every time I called a girl's house, it was always, aren't you a little old to be calling my daughter? So I guess I've always had this kind of crazy, raspy, whatever type of voice. I don't know if it's raspy shit. Whatever it is, it's
it sounds great.
Well, thank you.
It does.
Thank you.
I'm sure you take care of that voice, too. I mean, you do.
Well, I tell you, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't use drugs. And I know, like in my songs, I talk about drinking and stuff. And, whenever I was a kid, I think everybody drinks or whatever. Or you smoke a cigar or whatever. But honest to God, I don't drink at all. So, so in that fashion, you would think I was a smoker and a drinker and whiskey and just broke the shot glass and swallowed it whole kind of thing because of how it is. But I honest to God don't drink, smoke, use drugs, nothing at all. So I guess in that fashion, I'm taking care of myself. And I'm also a diabetic. I take 4 to 6 shots a day, depending on how many times I eat. So I take care of myself in that way. So I guess to say I take care of myself I reckon, I'm accused of not from time to time, but with the schedule sometimes, especially on the road touring, it isn't as easy. But I always have these guys, that, kind of know, because diabetes especially is such a very strange thing. You're up and you're down, and sometimes, like just this 20 yards away will annoy the crap out of you, even when it wouldn't ever bother you, but if your sugar's high, it does. So I have people that, watch out for me in that way, and and that, know when something maybe isn't right and say, hey, you need to take a look at this. So not only, do I try to take care of myself, there's been a lot of good people that help look out for me as well.
That's good.
Family
That's
as
really
well.
good. I guess it's another break, right? And what's the name of the video coming up by TC?
This one is Sell That Bitch's Car.
Oh, this was filmed live. Somebody was in the crowd and filmed this, and it got put on YouTube, and it's just a funny little song.
Good.
I've had kids write to me saying they were thrown out of class for singing this song.
What's the name of it again?
Sell
That Bitch's Car. Yep.
I love it. Okay, watch the video. We'll be right back. TC's going to tell us what he's up to now. Yeah, present. Let's talk about where he's going. Okay, be right back. Watch the video.
Well, with finding that woman that meets that criteria, my friends, I'm going to let you know right now, there comes a price with that. Because I found that woman that did everything to meet that criteria. Somebody say, ah. Well, let me tell you something. She loved all those material things, I come to find out, more than I did. That's some bad shit. So you know what I did?
What'd you do, man?
I sold that bitch's car. I bought myself a brand new guitar. Well, my baby threw me out 'cause I drank too much. She got mad and threw out on the stuff. Well, now I'm here to say that it just ain't right. If she don't straighten now, she gonna get a surprise. I'm gonna sell that bitch's car. I'm gonna sell that bitch's car. I'm gonna sell that bitch's car and buy myself a new guitar. She gave me grief 'cause I'm out every night. When I got home, she done started a fight. I woke up home day and finally saw the light. Now I know what I got to do is right. I'm gonna sell that bitch's car. Gonna sell that bitch's car. I'm gonna sell that bitch's car and buy myself a new guitar. She never gave me one bit of love. She never gave me an ounce of trust. She's always trying to make a fuss. Well, now that girl is gonna ride the bus. Well, I'll take her for a ride on a bus, yeah. TC, you got to leave her behind. Don't hang around 'cause you're wasting your time. A woman like that just can't be satisfied. If she don't straighten out, she gonna get a surprise. I'm gonna sell that bitch's car. I'm gonna sell that bitch's car. I'm gonna sell that bitch's car and buy myself a new guitar. I'm gonna sell that bitch's car. I'm gonna sell that bitch's car. yeah. I'm gonna sell that bitch's car, but that's right. I'm gonna sell that bitch's car and buy myself a new guitar. Thank you.
Back. I just want to mention Jimmy Vickers' dealership over on Merritt Island Causeway. Let's get them mentioned on the show. Jimmy Vickers, Merritt Island, have great vehicles. Buddy and Karen are up there. I wanted to also say Florida Discount Music, Mike Delachapa, and Florida Discount Music over on US 1 and Babcock in Melbourne. Check out open mics in the back where they have all kinds of open mic performances. Go see Mike. He'll put you on the stage. If you're a musician and you want everybody to hear you, that's a place to go. And one other place I wanted to talk about also is Alternative Connection. Tattoos.
Almost forgot the
Babcock
name
Street.
there, huh?
Yeah. I got my earring done there. Screamed and cried for 15 minutes, but I got it done there. And even a kind of a square guy like me got an earring. Great job, guys.
Did you just
Connection,
seriously
Jimmy
do the little
Vickers.
square?
Huh?
Did you just seriously do the little square?
Yeah.
That is... oh, my God.
Now, we got to get back to TC here. This is why we're here today. TC's on the show. Been telling us a lot of good things about himself and his music history, how he got started from Brevard County, and what he's doing. Now we're going to go... Actually, we're going to get to where we are now, presently, in the past couple of years, what he has got planned for his musical career continuing. Now, let's take it up just, we can start a couple years ago, or we can just aim in right now and see where you're headed and what you got planned.
Well, I'll take it to the South of Georgia band.
Okay.
That it was kind of ironic, it's kind of weird way that it all came about, but. Like I said earlier, I was thrown out of every cover band I ever played in my life, and had to do it original to make it happen in any way at all. And with the whole South of Georgia concept was, I grew up on country music. I really did, and I grew up in the country, chickens and goats. I even had a goat named Maggie that come in the house, and a potbelly pig living in the house, and literally, when I say country boy, I was a country person. That liked rock and roll too, though, but my heart and soul. I wrote a song one time when I was like 12, and it was called I Got Hippie Hair and a Country Heart, but to me, one hell of a star to making my dreams come true, and that was the chorus part of it or whatever. But either way, I thought country music, it's kind of making a change. It's doing something that, kind of like what Guns N' Roses did for rock and roll, really, when things really kind of started changing and every song grabbed you in a different way. And it opened up a lot of doors for bands that actually, changed rock and roll in a way that where I liked it mainly. But either way, it happened. So I met up with this guy and through... well, it really doesn't matter, but I met up with him, and he kind of had a rock and roll background as well, and you've met him before, and so we just got to talking and said, well, let's put together some stuff and kind of see what happens. So we did, and thought, this could be a really cool. The whole alternative thing really wasn't thought of until we had a song off the first record that broke in France and made it to 14, and they're the ones that started calling us the world's first alternative Southern country band. But before that, it was just, I guess it was just different. I guess that would be the way you'd say it was just different. And like I said, to sing rock and roll or really to sing just straight country, I just got invited to a Jason Aldean show because I'm also on the CMA board for Country Music Association, and so they bribe you with stuff. But either way, that's a real country singer. Luke Bryan, real country singer. Kenny Chesney, these are real country singers that I love. I mean, and like I said, I want to do my new record with Kevin Beamish that's mixed the last several Kenny Chesney albums, and everything's current now. But felt like this is an opportunity for a guy like me that I love to perform. I'm not a big guy that says I love the studio, but I love to perform. So the only way to get back on stage and perform is, to come up with something that works for me. Right. And so that's what I chose, to do. And we put this together with the whole plan that, this could either be something phenomenal or it'll never do anything, And like we were talking, I think, off a break, there's a certain magic that happens with something. And when I was, the first band, it was this magical thing that happened, and things just fell into place. And they actually, what they call in the music industry, they snowball. And that's what happened with that. And with South of Georgia, it's, we did the video for CMT and GAC. I had two songs. I had two songs that I did for this movie here that was released all over the world called The Hunt. If you have Netflix or whatever those things are where you can plug into your TV and bring something up, you can get that movie. It's a sci-fi movie that Fritz Kirsch, the director, did, and Gray Fredrickson produced from The Godfathers. And my agent, Hunter Von Leers, actually does a small cameo in there. And I was asked, actually, me and a guy named Rick Schroeder, used to be on a show called Silver Spoons, were the first people going to possibly do the leading roles of this. And I was in doing the South of Georgia record at the time. So passed on the acting part, but ended up doing, the songs for it. And so we had that, and then I with the video, I got the cowboy hat endorsement deal from a great cowboy hat company called Monte Carlo Hats, and they're out of Florida. And it just so happens there was this guy over at Bird's Western Wear that owns the place, and me and a guy I was playing with at the time, Todd Taylor, that's also the fastest banjo player in the world, and I helped him set that Guinness record, and helped produce his second to the last record that ended up with 7 Grammy nominations, and so we've had some cool little stuff that it kind of rolls, but to be dead honest, it's that. It kind of misses the magic, and I hate to say that, but it's like when that magic's there, things explode. So I took a break for a few years from the South of Georgia as far as the band and the touring with that, and decided, what, I'm going to kind of go. I can downsize. I can do things cheaper. I can do more shows because when you have a larger entourage and people pay more money. They and it's a tough economy, as we all know. And guys like me, we kind of sneak in on the radar sometimes, but usually we're flying just under that radar. Right. And you just really. You got to have that magic that throws you and catapults you into the mainstream, and I'm certainly hoping, and I believe the potential's there. But you got to get the like I say, the magic. So I took a couple years off, and I met up with Bill Dietz that brought me here today and lined this whole thing up with you as you're doing the thing and set it up. And
I was blessed by that ordeal.
Yes,
having you on the show, and of course Bill's been around the last couple of weeks.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I feel blessed to be here. Thank you very much.
When he just mentioned that to me, I don't know, a week or two ago, I went, well, yeah. Well, come on, make it. And he got right on the phone right here, and I'm going, oh, wow.
Oh, Superman.
That was great.
I appreciate it. And so anyway, I decided, you know what? I have my my own tour bus. It's a 40-foot Silver Eagle, 12 sleeper.
Wow.
Used to belong to Pink Floyd. They used it for about 5.5 years. And
Are you kidding?
No,
Really?
no, true. It still has the pink. I tell you what, I always say, sometimes I wonder if people's coming to see me at a show or they're just coming to see the bus, because people always go, "Oh yeah, we heard it was Pink Floyd's bus. Can we get
I want to see that bus."
And
You
so they'll stand outside of it.
Like David Gilmour?
Yeah, Pink Floyd, yeah. All in all, it's just
Yeah. Wow.
But so anyway,
Yeah.
so these guys were,
pretty cool.
really great musicians, great guys, and it was Bill and a guy, another local guy here in Brevard County named John Little, and a guy out of.
I think I know.
I'm sorry, I can't remember, but it's somewhere near Orlando, Popka maybe or something like that. But named Mike Brown. That these guys all knew each other. I didn't know any of them, but we auditioned them and said let's give it a whirl, and there was just so much fun chemistry there, and it wasn't about really selling a bunch of records to go out and do this for the last couple of years. It was more about kind of the grassroots thing of being up close and personal and doing smaller shows and different venues and staying at campgrounds and just really connecting with the people. And so I went out as T.C. Ridge, formerly of South of Georgia. And the South of Georgia thing isn't over by any means at all, but it just, the economy and the way the world is. And so that's what I did the last couple of years. And these guys have been really great, players and a lot of fun. And I have different guys that fill in from time to time and do different shows and different stuff. But, that's kind of where it's been with the whole the solo thing. And now, in the meantime, I also produced and stuff, and I did a record with a guy named Dean Davidson. They called him Dizzy Dean during the 80s, with a band called Brittany Fox, and very good friend of mine. I met him, many years ago through my mother that's deceased now, but that's how I actually met him. She was a supervisor over Larry Bird's Boston Connection, and the band stayed there, and my mom, said, "Oh, you got to come down and meet him." And so I was actually there when he got his first gold record, and so we met there, and then we reunited, and several years ago we did a record together for an artist, and then turned into, I was staying at his house, and we were shouting at the people that, that were doing some things we didn't like, and he's like, "Oh my God, your voice, we got to do this, we got to do that." And one thing led to another, then we started working on a show together, a cartoon that we're working now with Fritz Kirsch and a animator named Eric Dacker, and we're putting this together for the networks now. Comedy, very funny premise, and very cool.
Excellent.
But it's also now, it's the point now that it's time to get serious as well, back with making it happen, making it groove. So, right now, I had posted, several months back, I'm looking for a new label, looking for new management and agency and this and that to handle the tour. And I just recently have Breakout Management .net, which is a guy named Big Jim Napier, used to handle Van Zant and several other people that now is handling bookings for me all over the United States
good.
and world. Actually, I'll give his phone number. It's area code 615-289-5641. And so it's time to gear it up, because I took an entire year off, and the last show I did was in Nashville. It was the last show a year ago when I was up there right before the CMAs, and so sometimes you just have to kind of revamp and you think about things. So now it's time to gear up, and I want to record a new record, get some great tracks. I want this Kevin Beamish that's done Kenny Chesney's records to mix it up in Nashville, and we're going to shop it. We're going to see what we can do with a new deal, and even if it's a distribution deal, we're game for that. But it's going to be. I think that it's time to go make the magic happen.
There you go.
It's time to bring it back. And with this cartoon show, that's magically developed in a tremendous way. And
I have a feeling you're going to really bust through next year.
I mean, I really appreciate that.
I really do.
I got my hands together, my fingers crossed, and I keep plugging.
You have CDs you wanted to show the people?
I tell you. This is the
on there?
This is the first South of Georgia record on Crane Records in 2005. It was produced by Terry Luttrell, and it's available.
Let me hold it up for him.
It's available. Really, you can Google, and there's probably thousands and thousands of places that have that record. You can also go to southofgeorgia.com, and if you go to southofgeorgia.com, you can buy that, as well as the Monte Carlo endorsed hat. Brett Michaels even wore one on his first season of Rock of Love. But it's the one I wear on stage. So anybody see me in concert or in the video to Down Home Country Boy, this is it. Beautiful hats. They sell for, I believe, $45, but it's not your cheap straw hat. It's the real deal of a hat. And also, go see the movie or go rent it, something today, The Hunt. And then I have these not so well put together records are just of T.C. Ridge, and there's 3 different ones. They're basically EPs, and I don't know if you can hold them all up at once there, but
hold those 2 up.
if I can find them. But this is them, and there's different
there they are.
different stuff. And if you go to
Excellent.
Facebook, go to facebook.com/TC_Ridge. Write to me, tell me you'd like to have them, and they're $5 a piece plus shipping and handling if you want to get them. And
Awesome.
they're not produced by any label. This was strictly my own thing here. But hopefully with the new recordings we get a new distribution deal, and not only with the touring, but we're out there selling a brand new record with a whole bunch of great songs on it.
Awesome.
So, but write and tell your friends. I told somebody the other day, I said, I can't even afford new pants because every picture shows me with ripped pants. But that's a lie. I really can. But the thing is I always wear ripped pants on stage.
Right. That's another one of your
I'm
trademarks.
just full of trademarks.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Those pants are still in.
And kids,
Pretty
if you
much.
kids are watching, this is the real Santa Claus. And I spoke to Santa this morning. He says, if your parents love you, they actually will buy you one of these hats. I said, Santa, that's no way to talk. But Santa said, no, TC, you don't understand. Love has got to be spread, my friend. So that's what Santa.
Santa. See? Heard it from Santa. And TC. That's great. I
Santa
love it.
says you need recording time at ISW.
Well, yeah. Well, that's he'll make that
Not
decision.
him. I'm saying the people watching.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
this is a great guy, Will. I'll say it. I've walked around the facility here. It's very, very cool, very unique atmosphere, and come down to his place, ISW Productions. Is that what the
ISW recording studio,
recording studio and
TV studio, recording
guy
studio.
has all kinds of stuff here. It's really cool. I walked out on the deck earlier, and I'm looking at the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, right here in Indian-Atlantic, Florida. It's beautiful. Literally, it really is
Thank
beautiful, and the hospitality of everybody here.
Thank you.
It's really gracious, and I appreciate your kindness because
We
it's not
appreciate
always the best. I always say I'm going in hostile territory because you don't know if people like you or hate you. Or they want to insult you or pick on you. You know,
Well,
until you get a haircut.
ISW loves you, and I know I do too. I think you're fantastic.
Thank you very much.
We want to keep close tabs on you. We want to keep in touch with you. I'd like to be able to tell the people what you're doing too. I mean, we are averaging probably, I don't know, 1,000, 1,300.
Over 1,000 more
Yeah, people
views
are
per
watching
episode,
the show,
so.
and
it's just
I'd
going
like to
up.
be able to put that out there and let them know what TC's doing.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
I have a
Keep
feeling
them
this
posted.
episode is going to get into the 2,000s, 3,000s or more. So
Huh?
I think this episode is going to be the highest ranked so far.
Yeah, I do
Super.
too. I think it'll be definitely. Because I'm seeing D'Amato was just here on Tuesday, and I'm seeing in a couple days he's pushing 1,000 already. So
Oh, super.
there's a lot of people. So we got to keep in touch with TC.
I look forward to it. And maybe maybe I can even track some stuff here. And
Well,
get some good recordings.
that would be a blessing too. We've got a lot of projects going on presently, a lot of people coming in, and I would like to have you also do that here at the studio. We aim to please. Okay, I mean the style you like, the way you like it, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, super.
And that's what's good about the studio. We work with the musician. We don't tell the musician what to do. They tell us what to do here, and we try to do the best we can for them.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's why we're kind of like getting busy again. Thank you, Lord. But having the show today with TC on it was an honor and a privilege. Is there a website? What's your website? Oh, I don't know if we want to go to the website or.
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's southofgeorgia.com, and then my own personal Facebook is, I think I said it, but it's facebook.com/TC period, not spelled out period, just a little dot, Ridge. And, sometimes I'm a little slow to get back and forth to it, but I do actually get back to you, and I write, and I've made a lot of friends on Facebook. When we were out for the Breaking Your Back for the Man tour, it's really when I really realized, because I'm not going to lie to you, I thought Facebook was, I know it sounds crazy, but I thought it was for swingers, and I don't know why, but that's just what I thought, because somebody, I think maybe that was swingers had said, hey, so I'm thinking, that must be what it is. So, I'm real dumb about computers and all that stuff, but I really thought that, and then at that time, for the Breaking Your Back for the Man tour, that was out with Michael Allman, Greg Allman's son, and we shared my bus, and we shared the band, which was the Chrome Horses band with Bill Dietz and those guys, and we went out on my bus to save expenses, and we used the same band, and a few songs Michael and I would sing together as well, and stuff like that. Like we did the one cover I could do semi-okay is one called Jim Dandy by Black Oak, Arkansas.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I'll sitting on a mountaintop.
Go Jim Dandy, go Jim Dandy.
So we did that one because we both kind of, he's got, he has a really incredible voice, he's a real singer. I'm a guy that just gets up there and shouts and hopes for the best, but this guy's a really good singer. And so we had a lot of fun with that, with that tour. I don't even know where I was going. I just like to babble, but I don't know where I was going. I'd have to play it back. Tonight I'll be able to answer your question about what I was talking about, because I, too, will watch this to know what I was talking about.
You've got to go to TC on Facebook. You can see everything that's going on there, too, with them. I would imagine you can post up.
Sure. And I'll
that's
start...
That's a good place to go.
And I'll start posting up dates as they're coming in, and we'll be doing the whole Laconia run of this stuff as well.
Contest.
Yep, don't forget about the contest.
Oh, I always forget about the contest. Contest winner. Contest answered at InsideTheSoundwave.com. What can we have for a question today
Where was he
we can
born?
get the people to try to answer?
Where was he born?
Who?
You.
Oh, you want to know where I was born?
No. We don't want people to tell. We don't want you to tell them. We want to see how well they were paying attention.
Okay.
So whoever answers...
You did mention it, didn't you, in the show?
Yeah, at the beginning.
I don't know if I said where I was born.
He did?
Born in the pouring rain.
Pouring Rain, Indiana. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I thought he did. Okay, well...
No, I want to go back and say...
What age did he get his first guitar?
There you go.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
He said that at the beginning.
Yeah, he did.
Sure.
I remember.
That you remember, yeah.
What age did TC say that he picked up his first guitar? Okay?
Send your answers to...
Contest answer at inside the Soundwave.
Do that every time.
I know I'm so used to saying inside the ISW. Inside the Soundwave.com. Contest answer. Okay?
Something, too, I want to say real fast, has nothing to do with music, has nothing to do with anything. Everybody always finds it so fascinating. They always want to hear stories about people I've toured with or people that I've hung out with and the things that I've done. And I have been very fortunate in many ways. But something I want to say, and really from the heart,
Please do.
There are so many people that, whether they change your tire, whether they lay tile, or whether they're, whatever they are, they're have just as many great stories in life. And you can learn so much from everybody, and it's great that people kind of look up to people that have been fortunate enough to do maybe some things that they haven't. But, let's start making a world that comes together and appreciates everybody in it for what they are, and give something back. Quit taking it. Just give something back. And when you see, especially, veteran, anybody in the military, we may not agree with the wars and we may not agree with this, but you know what? These are people that's dedicated their lives. They're out there sacrificing. Give them something back, your appreciation and respect.
Amen. Very good. Thank you very much. I strongly go along with this. All right. Well, we're going to have to end the show. We're going to have a video about the studio here, I guess. And then we're going to just say goodbye to TC, but we will be in touch with TC because we want to let everybody know, like I said, what's going on with TC in 2013.
Thanks so much.
He will be in touch with me, and I'll be able to let you guys all know what's going on, please.
And I'll be back on this show one day, real soon.
He will. Care. And you might hopefully see pictures of TC doing some stuff here, if he chooses to do that, at the studio. And that'll be another way we can keep up to date with him. All right, God bless you all. Thank you for watching
Absolutely.
the show.
God bless you. Take care.
Thank you, TC. I love you, man. You're a great guy.
You too. Thanks so much.
Great.
I
love having you on the show.
Thank you.
God bless you all. Take care. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Just say your blessings 5 times. Things that we do when you take control of me and you demons. The blessings that we need when you take advantage, you and me. I just the bad things that we do when you take control of me and you demons. The blessings that we need when you take advantage, you and me. Demons screaming at me through the mirror. Something lies within my tears. Everyone around me lit up with fear when they see the hatred in my eyes. Throat like knots, sever the ties. Demon in the skies, not in the sky. The truth that lies, where does it hide? Who can tell me what is really going on? The only answer lies with God. Anyone above him is a fraud of the broken.